thank you for being with us tonight after the summer break. It's now the first webinar of the season. And today we have Surander Munjal as a guest speaker. The reason why we invited him is that I noticed the article he wrote and he published with Nitish Singh and Sumit Kundu, marketplace platforms as game changers, internationalization of smaller enterprises. So we discussed it with the board of La Fabrique de l'Exportation and said, well, there may be insights for us and things to learn on the way. Small or companies in general can use, optimize the way they use platforms, marketplaces to go international. We know about it, but we don't know that much about it. So we invited Surander. He kindly agreed to join us. So let me briefly introduce you, Surander. You are one of the leading professors of one of the leading universities in the UK, which is Leeds. It has a strong team of international business academics, and you're one of them. You worked on the topics of emerging countries and internationalization strategies. And I must say that today or tonight, you have your own guest, so someone who can share his knowledge from the field as a practitioner. Am I right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is Rohit. Thank you, Rohit, for being with us tonight as well.
My pleasure.
Thank you. So Surander, the floor is yours. You have, well, from 15 up to 30 minutes to give your presentation, and then there will be a session of questions. And the attendants will be able to share and to interact with each other as well. Maybe you can answer, maybe someone who's with us tonight can answer. So this is how it works for our webinars. The floor is yours, Surander.
Perfect. Thank you very much for inviting me to do this webinar. And I'm extremely delighted that I'm here to present my work to practitioners, to academics, to students, etc. My special thanks to Fabrique de Exportation Institute, the think tank, for holding this particular webinar series. I have seen that some of my colleagues have done this in the past, and their experience has been quite positive. So I'm really glad. So thanks for getting me here. So as Jean-Christophe said, that this paper was being published with my other co-authors, Nitish Singh and Sumit Kundu. The paper is about marketplace as a game changer for internationalization of smaller enterprises. And he also gave my candid introduction. So let me elaborate a bit on my introduction, and then I will talk to you about this particular paper and the associated research that I have been doing. So generally speaking, I am an academic who is interested in exploring internationalization strategies of firms who are coming from emerging markets. Primarily, they internationalize through cross-border acquisitions, and there's a huge literature which talks about why cross-border acquisition is a prominent strategy among them. One of the reasons is that they are lagging behind and they need to catch up. So acquisition provides them a faster speed for internationalization. Alongside, we have also studied their internationalization through offshore outsourcing. But increasingly these days, we have seen that these firms are internationalizing using e-commerce, digital platforms, and this is what my focus is on today. Region-wise, I expertise on India, Indian subcontinent, but also UK. And as you would know, and Brexit has recently taken place, there was a lot of narrative about Commonwealth countries, and that is another hat of expertise that I wear. I'm here in University of Leeds only until the end of November, and then I'm moving to Aston University in Birmingham starting 1st of December. So it's an important information, and I thought that I should let you know. It has been over 15 years in Leeds itself. Now it's time to do something new. Previously, I was at University of Delhi. While I was at University of Leeds, I had been running the center. It's a center called James E. Lynch India and South Asia Business Center. While we do academic research, we provide consultancy to small and medium enterprises, also large enterprises, and we do work in collaboration with the Foreign Commonwealth Office, Department of Business and Trade, the local business authorities. For example, I'm based in West Yorkshire here, so West Yorkshire Combined Authority, Indian government, and local business associations. So that's a brief narrative about who this person who is giving you this seminar today is. So I'm very much in touch with these industry bodies and the companies. And one of the company that we have studied in the research work which I'm presenting you today is available today to speak about, give first-hand experience of how they have been internationalizing. So there are two studies on which I will be dwelling upon on my presentation tonight. Both are published, one in Journal of International Management and the other one in Management International Review. In the first one, we looked at the marketplace as a game changer, which is also the title for the presentation tonight. But we have also seen the role of government policy, because government is increasingly are promoting internationalization of firms, but at that same time, they do not want that platforms become or gets into a position where they exploit smaller firms. So they also need to be controlled. And those narrative with regard to the facilitating role as well as controlling role of government has been studied in the other paper. So before I start with regard to what marketplaces do, which most of us understand to some extent, let me narrate what do we mean by smaller enterprises, because this is what is coming into the picture tonight. So if you look at the OECD's definition and also the European Commission's definition, they say that any enterprise which has less than 10 employees, they're called micro enterprises. And any organization which has between 10 and 49 employees is small enterprise. And both micro as well as small enterprise taken together can be called smaller enterprises, because then the other set of enterprises are those who are not small in that sense. They're not micro, they're not small, they're either medium-sized or large-sized. And if you think about the size itself, you can expect that firms who are bigger in size, they have more resources, they have more human resource, they have more finance, they are more capable, and therefore oftentimes they don't really need as much hand holding as small firms may need. So this set of enterprises are quite unique in terms of who they are and how they are internationalizing, especially when it comes to the role of online platforms. So forget about platform for a moment. Just think about the era before internet. In a normal brick and mortar kind of business model, smaller firms generally face a lot of constraints in their internationalization. And if you think about the literature very clearly tells that there are liabilities because you are small, there are liabilities of being small. And this can be a vicious cycle. You are small, therefore you will remain small, and therefore you are small. So it's like you are small, therefore you will be small, right? So that's a vicious cycle. That means that there are scale problems. You don't have bigger scales and your costs are high, and therefore you will not be able to reduce your cost. You will not be able to sell to masses, and therefore you will remain small. This also comes with reputational deficit. These are smaller firms. Not many people know them, and because not many people know them, they will never gain reputation. And obviously, there are resource problems, there are capability issues, and all of these bundle of liabilities remains with them throughout, unless something happens. And this can happen because of entrepreneurial skills and managers' initiatives, etc. Most of the time, small firms remain small, and the problem remains in their hand. So if we think about the philosophers such as Edith Penrose, she has always said one thing, that the performance of a firm and its survival largely depends upon their managerial abilities, the entrepreneurial abilities. And these managers and entrepreneurs are able to acquire, create, and manage resources. And because of these managerial capabilities, sometimes some smaller firms are able to breach that vicious cycle and start to move upwards. And we have some examples. I think you all know some of those examples from your own local area, where some of these firms have been able to breach that cycle and move on. So I think that's what we understand in a setting where we don't have any digital assets or any digital online platform where this happens. And if you think about, again, that era, the basic strategies, fundamental strategies through which these managers turn around these smaller firms have been, for example, they access support of business associations, government bodies, and therefore they are able to do something better and bigger because there is some support coming. Okay, so those resource deficit can be managed that way. They have been also able to do some kind of strategic alliances with other smaller firms. So if many small firms comes together, their scale in totality may be bigger. And if those kind of strategic alliances can be formed, it's possible, and we know about cooperative organization. This is what a lot of cooperative organizations do. They form these strategic alliances of smaller firms and let them grow on that basis. We have also seen that smaller firms tend to leverage network by establishing some kind of business transactions or business connections. For example, they can be original equipment manufacturers for larger firms. And if they are able to get into network of some large firm by becoming their supplier, for example, they might be able to scale up their production. I mean, there are again lots and lots of examples, but one of the example which I normally talk about is Toyota. And in Japan, Keiretsu, which is the network of business firms, uh, sometimes can do these wonders, and large firms, because they tend to benefit by exploiting some of these smaller firms. They form some of these Keiretsu, and small firm becomes a satellite to the large firm, and therefore they are able to scale up as they go along. Oftentimes, we have also thought about innovation. This can be business model innovation. This can be finding a niche product to sell in a market where large firms are not concentrating. That might also help firms to internationalize and grow. Again, one of the example on this particular point that I can highlight is the case of Chinese company called Haier. You have all known about Haier, I'm sure. This is a firm which used to be very small. It found out a niche when it wanted to internationalize, particularly in USA. They found out that in US, all the firms, all the households are looking for something big. I'm talking about white products such as refrigerators, washing machines, etc. Now, there was a small segment of consumers, which is the student accommodations, which also need some of these products, such as small refrigerator for accommodation, for example, a small washing machine, etc. And that was the segment which was a gap in the market. Hire recognized that gap and innovated its business product, and they were able to breach that market. And finally, recently, we have also started looking at the issues such as entrepreneurship, whereby these smaller firms are creating some kind of relational capital because they are small, there is a baggage, but at the same time, there is a flexibility and they can tweak their products. They can serve you as like they are your butler, and they can make things better for you because they are only concentrating on you as exclusive customer. Larger firms will not do that, and therefore sometimes these strategies can help these firms to grow up. But that's obviously the kind of strategies which these firms have been following before the internet era, before the online platforms, etc., has started to emerge, which has started to emerge over the last 2 decades, as we know. So when we think about the new economic environment, which is technology led, where all these online platforms have started to emerge, now we have seen while these pieces of strategies still exist, firms have also been able to leverage upon these platforms. And we have an example today here, which will also echo what I'm saying and will give you some ideas what did they do when they have leveraged these platforms and have been able to internationalize. And with that kind of narrative, while we was looking at some of these changing had been happening and online platforms have been responsible for those changes, we wanted to actually to understand the whole phenomenon, go deeper, find out what are the things that platforms have been doing, what are their advantages which enables these smaller firms to internationalize, and how would you theorize those things and understand from a manager's point of view how those things are relevant for managers. Because unless you understand some of those things that are being offered by platforms such as Amazon or eBay or Etsy, you would not be able to experience them. So with that, we wanted to explore this particular subject, and we studied uh, many companies. These are some of those companies that we have studied. We have been talking to the owners, partners, directors, etc. And if you look at these companies, they are in uh, different sectors, and they're all smaller companies in terms of their size. If you look into their employee, you will find all of them have got less than 49 employees. So they are small enterprises, micro enterprises, and this is what their turnovers have been like. You can also look into the percentage of volume that has been exported. In some cases, this is quite high. In other cases, this is still moderate, as big as 10 to 15%. And the kind of markets where they have been internationalizing. And we focused very particularly on Amazon as one of their e-commerce channel, because Amazon, among others, have got much more broader portfolio and much more richer uh, platform in terms of the services that they offer. So starting with our exploration, we found out that all those platform-specific advantages, Amazon being an online platform, offers a lot of services, lots of advantages, which helps these smaller firms to internationalize. And one of them is technology. If you think about the technology, I think we all understand the technology is such that when a product is being listed on their website, if consumer comes, when they search, they will be able to search a proper product that they're looking for. And that is because of their technology. The technology is such that they can also show up certain companies higher up in the order and other companies maybe lower up in the order. But if you think about matchmaking, if you are a person who is looking to date another person, you can filter down products. You can filter down your person that you're looking for based on the refining criteria that are available. And that's the technology that helps the companies to find their suitable customers. Okay, and then you can also sort out product on the basis of customer rating, etc., etc. And that all is happening because of their technology, the platform on which it has been built. If you think about individual companies to set up their own websites by where they can serve these customers and create this kind of platform, it's quite resource intensive. Smaller companies will never be able to do such kind of things. Now, while we think about technology, the technology is not only about the optimizing the search, but it is also about converting currency. It is also about getting your invoices made available to customer as soon as they buy the product. Also searching when the product will be shipped and how far it has been shipped and where it has reached, etc. So all those tracking, etc., is also technology-oriented advantages, which can make smaller firms quite easy to access to the customers and also make sales, because then the sales can be tracked, the product can be traced where it is, and the quality of product can also be vouched, etc. I think that's very much to be focused on the technology side. But thinking about the marketing resources, all these smaller firms don't have much of their legitimacy in the market. While they list their product, Amazon, for example, will say Amazon's choice. So it will indicate what the quality of that seller is, because Amazon is lending their legitimacy to them. They have vouched for their credibility, their products, etc. And therefore, there is a reputation that is associated with it. It's not only about the reputation, but it is also about the marketing resources that they provide. For example, customer reviews, for example, some kind of promotional campaigns that they do, and to the smaller enterprises, the target customer to whom they want to reach. And that is the marketing side of the story of platforms, which helps these companies to make their sales which they're looking for. And I think most of these things we understand from the basic understanding and the basic practice that we have had on some of these platforms. While we have done this analysis, what we have done, we have looked into the data that we had collected, and we had tried to aggregate them in from the first order categories to the broader second order categories, and then we have aggregated. So here you can see different things that have been highlighted, which is here on the left hand side in the table, which shows you the kind of things that people, when we were interviewing these companies, were talking about. So, for example, in terms of legitimacy itself, people have been talking about that they have got trust, they have got recognition in the market with regard to the perceived usefulness of their products and perceived ease of use of these uh, platforms, etc. They have been able to they were able to articulate that when people go, for example, customers go to these websites, they find navigation quite easy. It's quite intuitive. Overall, it is easy to use, and etc. etc. So all of these narratives actually tells us that these are technology related advantages, these are market related advantages, and that's where we have been able to categorize and theorize that these are the bundle of assets or platform specific assets that these firms are getting. Moving on from here to the next set of advantages. Second, let me just clear the screen. And so that was your first set, which are assets-based advantages. Now we are talking about network-related platform-specific advantages. As we all understand, all these networks are not individual country-specific. All these platforms are very global. So it provides these companies a global reach. So for example, Amazon is available almost everywhere in the on the planet, and you can buy products from different sellers by going to their website on Amazon. For example, if I want to buy the product which is being offered by my friend here, Rohit, whose company name is called once again, I have to remind. So Craft Trade. I can go to the Amazon UK website and I can find Craft Trade and I can buy the products that they are selling. So that's the network in terms of its reach that Amazon type platforms have been providing to these global to these smaller enterprises. It's not only reaching to the customers, but they are also providing connection with other sellers. For example, Amazon provide a lot of forums which these sellers can enter into, and then they can interact with these other sellers. And by doing that, they are not only able to form some kind of alliances or some kind of complementarity of bundle of products that they're offering, but they're also able to get into some kind of supply chain, etc. And all these benefits help these firms to grow. So in other words, what we say is that Amazon is actually providing them a broad and deep economic trench through which these firms are able to move forward by getting into those trenches. In terms of network itself, one can also think about the platforms have some kind of complementary related platform specific advantages. For example, all these ancillary services that this platform provides to smaller enterprises helps them to internationalize. It's about their inventory management. It is about the vast amount of market data that these companies Amazon type companies get, which helps their smaller firms, these smaller firms to gain market insights. They would tell when and where they could, for example, promote their products. They could also provide the fulfillment by Amazon facilities. Fulfillment by Amazon is a service whereby smaller firms can send their inventories to Amazon. Amazon stores it with them, and things like the Prime. When you buy product, the product will be sent out to you by the next day. Is because the product is not coming from the seller at the time. The product is actually coming from Amazon warehouses, and from where it can be shipped very quickly to you. So all these are the complementary related advantages which helps these smaller firms to become more aggressive seller and therefore to reach out to their customer and fulfill their demands in a rapid way. Again, when we collected our data, this shows that this kind of complement platform-specific advantages have let them grow quite rapidly. And when it comes to the network, there are a lot of learning that these firms can have by interacting with other suppliers. They have also been able to extend their supply chain, and they have been obviously able to reach out to a larger global customer base by the help of the network specific advantages that these platforms offer. While we understand these things, we also know that at times the role of these platforms is not only to facilitate, but it is also to help customers in the sense that they are not being cheated. The product which has been sent is of is of certain quality. If the product is not good enough, then the returns are also accepted, etc. Because if those kind of governance is not in place, it's possible that some sellers might damage the platform itself. And therefore, there are governance related platform specific advantages by which these platforms have been managing the kind of suppliers who will be on board, and they will also discourage suppliers who are not good enough to come on board, and that will also and by that same standard, that will also allows them, not allows, I don't think that allowing is the right word, and at times discrimination kind of issues can also be understood, that certain sellers are highlighted more prominently than others. Their listing is much more higher in comparison to others, etc. Whereby government, as I was talking to you in my other paper, we have tried to look into how governments are controlling some of these uh, uh, manipulations, I will say, platforms can do, because smaller firms are so small that they cannot really do anything if platform try to do some of those manipulations with them. But nonetheless, while we can think about some of those extraordinary powers that platforms do have, we have to concentrate on their advantages, and the advantages have been that they weed out the companies which are not good enough, and they only produce companies and the product which are good enough so that the sales can be made. So that is the governance aspect. And here one should also think about their learning and training programs. This is the last point here in the bullet, wherein they come with the relationship manager who helps the individual smaller firms. How should they internationalize? What are the products which will work in the market? What are the price that will work in the market? So they educate these smaller companies, and they bring them on board. So many a times, because we don't have enough knowledge, and lack of knowledge becomes a barrier for your growth. Okay. And this knowledge will be provided to you by the platform. And why will a platform provide you that knowledge? Because by bringing you on board, platform is making business. So you as an individual smaller enterprise, or an entrepreneur, is actually a business case for platforms, and therefore they would like to promote you. The only thing that we have to understand is that if you are good enough, if you have products which are good enough, they would be there for you to help you. And again, Rohit might be able to give his own narrative, how he has been able to internationalize very quickly by using some of these facilities that have been provided by companies such as Amazon. And again, these are the examples which tells us that what are the different facilities that these companies have been gaining. And if you aggregate those things, you will find that there are governance specific advantages and there are relationship building specific advantages, which help these companies to grow and internationalize. And to sum up everything, the way in which we have conceptualized this is that there are different types of platform specific advantages. All of these, from a theoretical sense, are not bound to a location. So we call them non-location uh, bound assets, as in these are transferable advantages. So these are transferable advantages, and it helps the companies to therefore internationalize using those platforms. So I guess pretty much everything, and I would like to, because we wanted to also think about the real example that we have here and take an opportunity to listen from him. And before I do that, I thought it will also be an interesting thing to see the storefront that this company called Craft Trade has been having on Amazon. So this is just a very quick look at the company called Craft Trade, whose entrepreneur called Rohit Kedia is here with us, and that's these are the handicraft items which they sell on Amazon, and this is their store on Amazon UK website, and these are the kind of items, for example, you can see. So I will now like to invite Rohit, who is here with us, to say a few words about their experience and the business that they are doing. Rohit, over to you.
Good. And can you please, Rohit, say a few words about the company prior to describing the way you built on platforms? Rohit, are you with us?
Let me check.
He was with us.
I think he left.
Ago.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
He's here.
You're back. Amazing. Great.
You're on mute, Rohit, so you need to unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Can you all hear
Hi.
me?
Yes.
Okay, myself, Rohit. Yeah, okay. So I'm a small business from India by the name Craft Trade. So we've got great help with Amazon. We've been sellers on Amazon from like last 6 years, I suppose, and been exporting from last 4.5 years. So we have tried markets out. We have been into United States. We're already registered in the United Kingdom and also doing a bit in Germany. So Amazon basically provides a platform for small sellers like us, wherein we can showcase our products onto their websites. So we guys are sending our inventories to the Amazon warehouses, which are there in the United Kingdom, as well as in Germany and United States. So it gets easier for small sellers like us to get the customers into our reach. Because when we send our inventories to their warehouses directly, so customers can get the products on time, products delivered on time, like 2 days, 3 days are the max, is the max time duration where the products is being delivered. Wherein previously what used to happen was we got an order from someone in the United States, for example. So it would generally take around 10 to 15 days to get to that customer, the product to that customer. So Amazon has helped us to save our times, times, and help us expand our businesses. So it's been a very spectacular journey for us in all these marketplaces. They have given us their warehouses, their spaces to utilize, and we can gen- generate good amount of orders so that we can get into those markets through B2B as well. Amazon is the stepping stone. Like if you go through Amazon to these particular countries like European Union countries, after earlier before Brexit it was UK itself. After Brexit we need to take registration for Germany VAT registrations are required. So sending inventory separately to Germany, and from Germany we can fulfill Poland, Italy, France, and other 4 5 countries. And United Kingdom is a separate warehouse. So I've seen a lot of sellers from my region who have excelled a lot and who have been creating brands in the domestic areas as well. They have been renowned. The earlier what I've seen through my journey was people used to outsource goods from China. Indian sellers used to go to China, get their products manufactured in China, and then sell it, dump it into the US marketplaces and European marketplaces. But in our country, after the Make in India initiative from India, so things are getting manufactured in our country itself, and we guys are exporting it to the European Union and the United States of America. So it's been a great journey. Lot of sellers have reached heights in very short span of time, like say 2 to 3 years. They have grown very fast. Amazon has helped them to grow rapidly, fastly, and then after getting into those markets through Amazon, these people get direct access to the markets and they can tap the B2B chains as well. So it has been a learning curve for me as well. So Surendra Munjal sir, you know we had a conversation about Amazon previously. So after that, we shared some notes onto it, that how it all happens, what is Amazon doing, what are how is the government helping Amazon, and the problems with when we go country specific, like for example in India, Indian government would also like to, take a huge pie of it. They don't want a foreign multi marketplace to get hold of the whole market. So they are also chipping in with their own marketplaces. Same goes with countries like Europe and US. US, there's Walmart coming in. In Europe, there's already eBay, Etsy. So my company is basically into handicrafts. We guys are selling handicraft stuffs to the to these foreign countries. Handicrafts, home decor stuff, copper articles, which are for, let's take an example of copper bottles. So I'm sending in the copper bottles to Europe and United States of America. So I'm getting huge traffic on the copper bottles because it's hygienic, it's good for health. People are moving towards, they're going away from plastic and going towards coppers, so which is healthy. And it's been a great journey for me as well, and it's great.
Perfect. And could you say just some few words about the orientation and learning that is being provided by Amazon? For example, what products, which markets, what price, etc.
See, Amazon is a teacher in itself. I mean, when you go to Amazon, you start to think, you are able to connect the dots when you're selling it through Amazon. You're not You know how to do a structured business when you are on Amazon, and when you're doing it elsewhere, you need to figure out things. You need to figure out certain things, that how we need to ship our products, how will we tap the market. But on Amazon, there's a marketplace already created, there is traffic on their website, and then they've got channels to export your goods to. So for a new seller, it gets easier to expand its product base. And then there are a lot of, for example, let's say for an example, copper bottles. Since I've been talking about copper bottles, there are n number of sellers who are selling copper bottles onto the Amazon marketplace. So a seller sitting in India, and there are other 5 sellers who are selling copper bottles on the Amazon platform. So we get to know the price points at which these people are selling these copper bottles at. So it helps us to identify the right pricing strategy for the customers. What is the price at which the customers are purchasing? What is going on in Europe? What products are being liked in Europe? Which category we can penetrate into? So it helps a lot. It has been it saves a lot of time for us, because otherwise we would have been still researching about certain things, but we get whole of the research being done by Amazon itself. We just need to analyze the data analytics is what we need to do. And there are certain softwares which people use, like Helium 10 is one, wherein they chip us in with the data of other sellers, how much units they are selling of this particular SKU. So these all things helps a new seller a lot, and it saves their time to get global. From India, it's been like let's say 3 years ago, there were not many e-commerce sellers who were selling into the marketplaces, but there are now like 4 lakh odd sellers, who, matlab, 0.4 million, is that the right figure, who are selling who are exporting through Amazon. So Amazon is creating an export base, is helping people to go abroad, go the export way, and which in turn is helping the economy as well in turn. And Chinese dumping has reduced to these countries.
Perfect. Well, I think I'll say thanks to Rohit for sharing his insights.
Thank you,
And
Rohit.
and these are the he has also given certain numbers and insights. So how many, for example, 500,000 small enterprises are listed on from India are listed on Amazon. They're using Amazon services for internationalization, which is a huge number as when we can think about. and many of them have rapidly grown and are scaling up using these online services. So I guess that's all from our side. Thank you very much. If there are questions, comments, happy to answer them now.
Okay, thank you. So Rohit, are you staying with us, or can you stay with us for a while, a few minutes?
Yes, sure, I can.
Okay, so thank you, Surinder and Rohit. Well, I have a question for you, Rohit. Did you challenge Amazon with another player like maybe Alibaba or I don't know, product-specific platforms or any industry-specific platforms? How did you end up with Amazon?
See, when we talk about the market shares which Amazon possesses, it's huge. They are having a chunk of the market. So it would have been a better idea, obviously, to go with Amazon. Other market, eBay was thriving till 2016-17. It was huge. eBay was huge, but it has also declined after that. After 2016, eBay has declined a bit. And when we talk about Etsy is a marketplace. I'm talking about specific platforms. Etsy is a marketplace which is only for artisans, individual artisans, where they can who can promote their art onto Etsy. And in US, there is Walmart, which is coming up with the e-commerce thing. So it'll take some while for Walmart to catch up with Amazon. It'll take huge time because they have started like 2-3 years ago. They have started working Walmart into the e-commerce space. So it'll take time to catch up with Amazon. Amazon has already expanded its bases to different countries, and they've got their own warehouses. The most important part is the warehouse part. They've got warehouses in individual countries. For example, United Kingdom. They've got 4 to 5 warehouses, big, huge warehouses, where an exporter can store their goods. So it makes their life a lot easier. They just
Okay.
need to ship in their products there, and then Amazon takes care of everything. It is not the case with other portals. Southeast Asia, we talk about, there are certain players like Lazada and other players, but I haven't tried those markets. Southeast Asia I have not tried, but when we talk about Europe and United States or North America, for example, Amazon is the single big fish.
Okay, so you chose the one which has the best capacity for logistics and market reach. Now I have a question in terms of business model from the marketplace. You said you have been taught, you learned a lot, you have been trained, etc. They gave you support for pricing, etc. But have you been charged for that before you sold items through Amazon, or what was the business model by Amazon for the training they gave you? Where have you been invoiced for that?
If I've heard you correctly, you're asking me that what Amazon has. If actually I didn't hear your question properly, was it how has Amazon helped me to reach there, or is it about what are the logistical things they've provided me?
No, the question was about what was Amazon's business model for the training and the consultancy they provided to you. Did they charge you for this, or was it included in the discount or the percentage that it's charged by Amazon?
I'll talk about myself only. So when I started off on Amazon, I just passed out from my university. I was in Leeds University with under the guidance of Surendra sir. So we were, there was a buzz during that era in 2013-14 about digital marketing. Digital marketing was about to come. It was getting bigger day by day. So at that point of when I started off with Amazon, initially I started off in my own country, India. So we, and what helps us, Amazon has great affiliate networks. So they have there are third party service providers who provides training to us that how to sell your products, which category you should. These people have excelled already onto Amazon. They're experts on Amazon. So these people guide us what should we sell they charge a certain onto it. But that's how we started. Then after that, we learned all those arts. We started doing things in house. Previously we were doing it through third party service providers, which we got in touch with Amazon itself through their networks.
Okay, thanks, Rohit. So I'm quite sure there will be some questions to Surrender or Rohit from the audience.